suspect, Robert, that there must be 100 different reasons that people have for being worried about cloning. But by the same token, there must also be a few that rise to the top, that just keep coming back and back and back.
There are several you hear over and over, like, for example, and these, by the way, I think they're very reasonable things to worry about. For example, if I have a clone, so which is the real me? I mean, if it's an exact copy, what am I?
The original.
Yeah, but if it's an exact copy, then, like, second question, who's better? If I'm the first, does that make the other one a second citizen? I'm uncomfortable with the idea of a secondary Robert. Maybe you'd harvest him for parts or something. Makes me a little nervous. So people worried about the status. Third thing is, this is the kind of technology that, because people go to the movies, they see this, it's Hitlerland. Only really demonic people like this technology. So if you have it, the wrong people will be attracted to it. Those three, let's take them one at a time, starting with a basic principle from Barney the Purple Dinosaur.
You are special, you're the only one like you.
As Barney has been saying for years, you are special, you're the only one like you. The notion that with human cloning there could be two creatures like you, or more, well, that's scary. Don't be scared, says Lee. Movies aren't the same as real life. In real life, clones are not at all exact copies. And here is the proof. I was invited to Philadelphia by Professor Stephen Jay Gould of Harvard University to an exhibit at this museum, which is kind of scary all by itself, the Mutter Museum. Professor Gould said, let me show you something.
We're standing in front of the greatest proof of individuality of clones in human history.
He's talking about Cheng and Eng, the famous Siamese twins who toured America with P.T. Barnum in the last century. Identical twins are clones, genetically identical, but in this case, says Gould,
they were joined by a small flap of skin connecting their chests, turned out to contain some of the liver. There's their liver still there.
That's their actual liver?
That's their actual liver. They could not have been separated by the medical technology at the time. They could be today. But here's the interesting point. Here are absolutely maximally similar people.
Couldn't get more similar. Same genes, same environment, always connected, and yet...
they turned out to be, by all accounts, quite different.
Cheng, on the right with his son, was a dark and brooding alcoholic introvert. Eng, on the other hand, was a sunny, teetotaling, child-loving extrovert.
So here are two people who couldn't be more alike, and yet they developed distinctly different personalities. If that isn't proof that cloning doesn't make absolute identity, I don't know what else we can give you.
Well, I got a little something. How about these two? Sharon Posset and Debbie Melman, identical twins separated at birth and reunited 45 years later. My colleague Deb Amos met these two last year and found them uncannily identical. They act the same.
Like the baby moth with the hand.
They talk the same.
Don't affect me. If I heard this story, I would think it was bizarre that two people that were 45 years old met and like instantly bonded to be like, come on, you know. But here we are.
They are so weirdly identical. So weird.
Their kids say they laugh at the same thing. They use the same words at the same time with the same gestures.
We didn't know that.
They even make the same stupid, cross-eyed look.
These are spooky clones, frankly.
Yes, that's
They're
right.
spooky.
So explain the difference. How come Steve Gould's clones come out almost opposite, while these two come out almost identical?
So what we're seeing here are the two different extremes over the broad distribution of what will happen.
I see. So Gould's example is one case on one end of the rainbow.
Right.
And these ladies are the other.
The other. And most people are going to fall somewhere in between, being alike in some ways, but not as totally alike as these women are.
But looking at those two doesn't convince you that they are the same person in two bodies.
Absolutely not, because each individual has a completely separate mind that is in a dynamic state, always changing.
Completely separate mind? I mean, you want to go that far? Because, I mean, I don't see it.
They have the same behaviors and same instincts, but they are different people.
So real clones are not exact copies, not at all. But now, how about this other movie notion?
And you know, sometimes you make a copy of a copy, it's not quite as sharp as, well, the original.
Oh, I think that's a misplaced metaphor from the process of Xeroxing. And I mean that seriously. I think we have the Xeroxing metaphor in our mind, that each time you Xerox a Xerox, it degrades, but that's certainly not true.
Biologists say that for genes, the right metaphor is computers. Think digital here, where every copy is an original.
That's right. The genetic information will be duplicated exactly.
So no loss of quality.
No loss of quality.
No second best.
No second best.
No clonic kind of character.
That's right. That's complete fiction.
The right Hitler for the right future.
Okay, here's one more worry, and I admit you see this all the time in the movies. People who are attracted to human cloning are not the nicest people.
No torture, things like that.
Even if they're the couple next door, played by Buck Henry and Jane Curtin.
It was going to be so simple. Everything about it was so simple. Just get a piece of genetic material from the Führer.
Adolf Hitler.
The man we respected so much. And have 6 babies, 1 for each continent. And we could take over the world. No biggie.
Many folks worry that human cloning will bring out the worst of human nature and will be used by the worst of humans.
Certainly the most vicious.
You've just met the couple. Can they get away with this? 6 Hitlers taking over 6 continents, rule the world. No biggie, says Jane.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because in this situation, it's not just the genes. It's the genes, it's the environment.
You can't trust your environment.
And these little Hitler embryos, anything could have knocked them from evil to less than evil?
Oh, absolutely.
So if they, like, park themselves in front of a Mr. Rogers show on Wednesdays, that would ruin them?
Yes, because their environment has a big effect on what they become.
We would look in the crib and see these happy little mustachioed babies playing and giggling in the little Germanic accent that they had.
Their little arms and legs just going like all kids do. They were so healthy, so active. One of them particularly with just the right arm. That just, we knew we were on the right track.
We had such high hopes for them.
All 6. Each one of them went awry.
Anyway, my favorite, Mandolph. He was such a great talker. In school, he could just talk the lunch money away from all of the other kids. He was phenomenal. He could convince you of anything.
He had the master's voice.
And we thought, yes, yes, he's going to be the one to take over Europe. He now is the infomercial king.
Television's most popular pitchman now.
Wasn't exactly what we wanted.
Die or die.